Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to kill.
He's the one that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice. Right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from J. Prince Jr. The whole play going on. Here go the play right here. The play is a loaded dice.
Blood-soaked dice clattered across the velvet like it was nothing. Laughter filled the air. Fake smiles everywhere. But only one man didn't walk out alive. Duke the Jeweler wasn't some broke hustler. He died surrounded by flashy liars and designer gear. Now there's heat on mob ties and the feds are breathing down their necks. Duke didn't just get caught off guard. He was straight up hunted. And it wasn't by masked nobodies lurking in some alley either. He got lit up right after leaving Boogie's dice game, surrounded by people acting cool one second, then throwing weird glances and slick hand signs the next. And now those same folks are caught in the federal crosshairs. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's out here adding fuel to the madness, dropping cryptic posts, sharing sketchy messages, and stirring things up like he knows something the streets don't. He's throwing shade like this wasn't some random shooting. It was a straight-up setup, and the layers go deep. Here's where it turns into a full-on crime drama.
We walk into his car or something, and some dude tried to rob him. Some dudes tried to rob him. See, some dudes that tried to rob me had walked off by himself, but I had just met dude yesterday. They try to rob dude, man. Dude must ain't get up.
Folks for flight check. We're number 2 departure. Flight attendants, please bear cap.
Just met dude.
Just 2 weeks before takeoff got hit at another dice game, Duke was shutting down tables at a JPR Jr. event. And when the wrong person starts winning too much, that's when egos snap and bullets start flying. Now, Boosie, J. Prince Jr., Lil Cam, they're all under the spotlight and nobody's looking safe. What used to be quiet whispers is turning into a street-level firestorm. But how did it all spiral like this? Let's rewind it. What seemed like a chill dice game might have been a setup from the start. Duke the Jeweler was that dude built his empire out of Chicago, turned dreams into diamonds. And just like that, it all crashed in a flash. Duke wasn't out here tossing icy chains at every wannabe rapper. He was lacing the real heavy hitters, the ones actually running the industry. His pieces were fire, custom, flashy one-of-ones, and his name was blowing up fast. He didn't pull up in Houston just to chill. It was business. Word is Boosie personally hit him up about a special order. So Duke packed that $1 million Louis duffel full of his flashiest work and touched down ready to cash out. But what he didn't see coming was that the whole trip might have been a setup dressed like a business move. Now, zoom in on that dice game because it wasn't no friendly gambling circle. According to leaked audio from WAC 100, yeah, someone with real street connects. This wasn't just a game. It was part of a shady preloaded hustle. Word is J. Prince Jr. runs what folks are now calling a straight-up rigged dice operation. And get this, it's always the same 3 dudes running the table. Lil Cam, Big Capri, and Wolf. That trio keeps the dice locked down like it's some underground ceremony. The rolls never random. They make sure the house always wins, unless someone breaks the rhythm. And that night, someone did. Wack claims Duke hit a streak with dice that weren't meant for him, and they were loaded. He started stacking quick. Hundreds turned to thousands, and the table was heating up. When someone messes up a rig setup, it gets ugly fast. The folks in control start panicking. Their whole scheme goes sideways. And here's the real jaw dropper.
Worked through hard time but never gave up. I stayed tough even when I got my chain stuck. Go through hard time but we know that what made us. Can't blame us, we love the script cause that what paid us. Yeah, ain't gotta ask, I know them niggas laid off. I call King like get the passion going where I'm on. I can't even find you know how many nights I don't stay.
Insiders say Jay Prince Jr. allegedly pockets 30% of every dice pot. So when Duke started winning big, he wasn't just playing the game. He was digging into the boss's profits. And to make it worse, Duke wasn't low-key. He was turned up dripping in diamonds, flexing stacks, and recording the whole scene for the gram. Now, this is where it gets seriously shady. If you pause the footage from that dice game at just the right moment, you'll catch something slick. Boosie lets out a quiet whistle. Not loud, not dramatic, just enough to peep if you're paying attention. Right after that,
Invite to me. Act like you covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got three right, who rotate the dice. Now these dice is loaded. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotators, right? He said, why? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler ground and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was however money back. He said, but Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other.
his nephew snaps his head straight at Duke. Then a dude in a red hoodie reaches over and taps Boosie's nephew on the arm, like it's a silent code being passed. And then boom, the whole energy in the room shifts instantly. 1 second, Duke's grinning, cracking jokes, living his best life at the table. The next, it's like the air froze solid. The vibe turned dead cold, like something just got triggered. Minutes later, Duke's gone. This wasn't some gut feeling. It was real tension, thick in the air. You could see it in the eyes, the stiff movements, the silence. Because when you're surrounded by people who already made up their mind behind your back, that room gets dangerous real quick. Still thinking this was just a dice game going bad? Ask yourself this. Why would Boosie, a rich celeb, bring someone rocking over $1 million in ice into a game with randoms and no real security? And why didn't Jay Prince Jr., the so-called host, make sure the spot was locked down, especially for a high-profile jeweler pulling up solo, flashing stacks? Now, rewind it again. Watch how Duke leaves. No protection, no crew, no getaway ride. Just Duke walking alone across a sketchy Houston parking lot after hours in a room filled with egos, cash, and jewelry worth millions. That don't just feel off. It screams setup, or at the very least, neglect that don't make sense. Then it happens. Gunshots echo out. Duke gets ambushed, fatally shot. But here's the wildest part. In any real robbery, what's the first thing they grab? The ice, the money, the valuables. But Duke, he was still wearing everything. His chains, his rings, say $1 million drip. He flexed at Boosie's concert still shining on him. Now tell me, what kind of robbery leaves all the loot behind? So what kind of robbery leaves all the golden ice untouched? The kind that was never about a robbery to begin with. And here's where it gets straight up wild. The mic drop moment. That Louis Vuitton bag Duke rolled in with a one stack of exclusive unreleased high-end custom jewelry. It didn't vanish into thin air. It ended up inside Boosie's house. Yeah, you heard that right. Houston PD confirmed it. Whether Duke handed it over to Boosie during the game for safekeeping, or Boosie got hold of it after Duke was gone, nobody's spilling. But one thing we do know for sure, the bag made it home. Duke didn't. So, how does Boosie explain all this? He jumped on Instagram Live, sitting in a plane seat, looking real uncomfortable, talking about how he barely knew Duke and said Duke just up and left. Seriously, Duke came down to make you a custom piece, was flashing over $1 million in jewelry at your invite-only game, and now you're claiming he just walked off into the dark alone. That whole story smells off.
I gotta do my research, see what Judah might have been down there shooting nice. But nevertheless, to all the entertainers, you know, Dukes of Hazzard was one of my favorite shows, right? I don't know if y'all watched it. I was thinking about Daisy Dukes for a reason. I don't know why I said that. You know, one might go with it, may not go with it, but I don't know. If the math is math, and let it math. But entertainers, beware. Oh, wait. Jay Prince Jr., when he talked about let's go shoot some dice, because the loaded dice crew at 3 Cam Wolf and Big Caprice. We know Lil Cam in there because I believe somehow, some way, he's caught up in the dice situation. Rest in peace, Takeoff. I don't know what's going on. But what I do know this, Jay Prince Jr. got a whole thing that when y'all come into town, hold on, bro. Didn't they say 5th Ward earlier that day shooting dice?
Yep, that's a fact. That word been out, Wack. That word been out. We been out that memo.
And then, so I've been getting hit all day, and it got to the point at the thing, Quavo like, getting into dice. That's what this nigga Jay Prince Jr., boy, these niggas got all kind of shit going on down there. They say, he said the jeweler nigga got past the dice. He didn't even know the motherfuckers was loaded. He just think he hitting. These niggas is mad as a motherfucker. Cause they like, nigga, how you pass this nigga the loaded dice? Hold up.
And Bowie didn't look cool or confident during that live either. His face looked stressed, drained like the walls were closing in. But it only got messier from there. The feds, who were already watching Boosie over some other stuff, swooped in and snatched up Duke's case for a full-blown federal investigation. That means no red tape, no back burner, just a fast track to the truth. And guess what else? The feds tracked Duke's phone. And you'll never guess the last place it pinged. Bowie's recording studio. So unless that phone took a solo Uber ride, someone in Boo's circle brought it there. And here's the crazy part. Nobody tried to wipe it, smash it, or toss it. The phone just shut off like someone calmly held a power button and ended it. No drama, no panic, just silence. Cold silence. That's when the feds kicked it into high gear. They did a full forensic sweep on Duke's rental. And what did they find? Fingerprints from Boo's nephew and cousin. Now, tell me this. Why are Boosie's own people all over Duke's car if it was just a casual meetup? And right when you thought the saga couldn't twist any deeper, boom, it did. A new witness came forward. Someone who was just outside catching a smoke said they saw Duke heading toward his car solo, calm, like nothing was off. But then out the shadows came Boosie's nephew like he was waiting for a signal to move. The witness says Duke felt the tension. He wasn't clueless. Word is he swung first, trying to protect himself, but it didn't matter. One slick move, and Boo's nephew allegedly pulled the trigger. No fake scuffle, no jewelry missing, no cover-up attempt. Why? Because this wasn't about robbing Duke. It was about shutting him up. And what's even crazier, they didn't ditch the Lewis bag. They kept it. That's not just sloppy. That's cocky. Like they thought no one would come checking. And guess who started piecing things together from the sidelines? 50 Cent. He's been throwing shade, asking real questions. See, everybody in the industry knows when you land in Houston, there's an unspoken rule. Check in. No paperwork, no signs. But it's real. If you don't tap in with Jay Prince Jr. and the Mob Ties crew, you're rolling in risky. But now here's the flip.
Garage,
He must have walked outside to the parking lot. We was in the garage. We heard this, but it like they was far away in the parking lot. He must have went to his car or something, bro. Dude was finna make a piece for him, too. Dang.
Nobody wants to be the next headline.
What happens when the ones you're told to check in with are the very ones setting you up? Think about it. Jay Prince Jr. hosted that dice game. Same style setup where Takeoff got ended. Now Duke's gone too. Two men, different nights, same circle. So what's really happening? If J.R. Prince Jr. really runs Houston like he claims, then why is it that artists keep ending up dead after checking in with him? Something's not right. Even Whack 100 wasn't holding back. He called it exactly what it looked like, a straight-up scam operation. According to him, J. Prince Jr. reels celebrities in, plays the cool host, makes them feel safe, then walks them right into these dice games where his squad's already locked in, watching, scheming, ready to pounce. Now the streets are buzzing, artists are backing off, and the industry is treating Houston like it's toxic. Labels are scrapping appearances, canceling events, and the whole scene's losing its shine fast. Interview 1447. 1516. Nobody wants to be the next headline. Even 50 Cent's been out here firing shots left and right, dropping slick captions, reposting shady clips, and putting the whole situation on blast like he's daring somebody to clap back. Some say he's stirring the pot too hard. Others, they say he's the only one real enough to speak what everybody else is whispering behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Bowie's not looking so calm. Word is the feds are leaning on him heavy. And this ain't just getting folded into his old gun charges. Duke's case got split off, and now they're putting that whole night under a microscope. They're digging into his homes, his bank moves, even digital. Footprints tied to his son. But here's where things start creeping in from the inside. Allegedly, Boosie's own girlfriend let something slip. Told someone he ran back into the house that night like he was hiding something serious. Yet Bowie's still out here pretending like Duke was just some random he barely knew. But now people are starting to ask the big question. If Bowie takes the fall, who else is going down with him? Because Bowie doesn't roll solo. His nephew in the mix, his cousin in it, too. And let's not forget, he's tied to J. Prince Jr., who's already under heat from Takeoff shooting. All the strings are starting to weave into one messy picture. And at the center of it all, that same dice table, that's where it all connects. And even the ones who use a ride hard for mob ties, they're acting brand new. Finesse 2 times, who used to shout out J. Prince Jr. in every interview. Now he's moving real quiet. Doesn't mention the name. Doesn't show up to events. No more backstage vibes. The switch up is loud, even when nobody's saying a word. Then came the whispers, and this time it wasn't just about money or ego. Word on the street. This whole mess might have kicked off over a woman, but not just any woman. Finesse 2 times his baby mama. A few months back, her and her mother allegedly set him up, called the cops, and had him locked up for violating probation. Yeah, this one got real personal. And guess who stepped in to clean up the chaos? J. Prince Sr. himself. Behind closed doors, he pulled serious weight, made some quiet phone calls, and just like that, Vanis was back out in under 2 weeks. That kind of favor ain't free. But instead of showing respect or laying low, Vanis doubled down and ran right back to the same woman who allegedly lined him up. That's when J. Prince Sr. had enough. And he didn't keep it behind closed doors either. He hit Twitter with the heat. I told the homie to stay the FK away from that woman if he loves his life. But the homie wouldn't listen even after I had to step in and get him out of prison. Y'all better be careful out here thinking these women got your best interests at heart. And just when it felt like things couldn't spiral more, they did. The streets started buzzing with rumors that J. Prince Jr. might have gotten finest girl pregnant behind his back. Is it confirmed? Nah. But the fact that people are even saying it and Finesse ain't shutting it down, that's saying a lot. Some try to play it off as social media gossip, but others they're connecting the dots. J. Prince Jr. already got tension with Takeoff family. There's smoke between him and Boosie behind the scenes. Now, Finesse is out here spinning, caught in public drama with a woman tied to all of it. So, people are starting to wonder, how many moves can Junior make before the whole empire he's trying to run just crumbles? Because this ain't just beef anymore. It's looking like a full-blown collapse. Because here's the cold truth. When your whole empire is built on silence, fear, and flexing like you're untouchable, all it takes is one voice to crack the whole foundation. One artist, one homie, one fed-up insider, and boom, the whole thing starts crumbling in real time. That silence they used to rely on, it's breaking apart. Now the streets are locked in. Everyone's waiting to see. Will Boosie finally crack and speak up? Will Finesse 2 times stop playing the quiet role and spill what really went down? Or will 50 Cent, who's been relentless in digging into mob ties, force J. Prince Jr. to do the unthinkable, break the code, and save himself? Because let's be real, this collapse is already underway. And those quiet whispers, they're turning into full-blown explosions. Behind the scenes, the feds aren't just casually checking in on Boosie. They're watching everything. His Baton Rouge mansion tapped in that Georgia land being combed through. Every deed, every account, every move under a microscope. Bowie's not just being watched. He's being tracked like a federal target. And he ain't the only one in trouble. J. Prince Jr., he's in deep, too. The industry is falling back. Artists that used to shout him out, dead silent. Labels pulling out quietly behind closed doors. This ain't rap beef anymore. It's starting to smell like RICO charges in the making, and the temperature rising fast. And here's the final twist.